Are you thinking about starting a poultry farm and you are confused on whether to raise broilers or raise layers? Just know that you are not alone, because this is one of the most common questions asked by aspiring poultry farmers. Broilers, layers. In today's video, I will help you decide by comparing layers and broilers in different terms. In terms of costs, terms of profitability, terms of market demands, and also time commitments. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear idea which one you should go for, which one will suit your goals, which one will suit your resources also, because your resources are very important in deciding which one you would go into. Guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Poultry with Modupe. On this channel, I discuss everything relating to poultry farming. I am a layer poultry farmer specifically. I am doing my business in Nigeria, and if you're seeing my face for the first time, please do want to subscribe on this channel before you leave. Turn on the notification bell so you're notified once a video from me drops. And if you're a returning subscriber, my people, thank you for stopping by again. Let's dive into today's video. In the first segment, we're going to look at what are broilers and what are layers. Let's take broilers. Broilers are chickens raised basically for their meat production. They are very quick to grow, and within 6 to 8 weeks, they are ready for the table. They are already table size in that number of time. Layers, on the other hand, are chickens raised for egg production. Again, I am a layer poultry farmer, you see, and these are my birds, and they are raised basically for egg production. So these birds, they start laying eggs within between their 18 and 20 weeks, and they might lay for about 2 years, 1.5 years, depending on how well you manage them. So you've known about broilers, you've known about layers. Both of them are profitable, but their timelines are different. You know, I said broilers, they are ready within 6 to 8 weeks, and layers, they only start laying between 18 and 20 weeks. So both of them are profitable, but the timeline requirement differs, and they are also very different. So let us break this down even further. If we have to talk about the costing, like the cost of starting, it depends on which one you want to choose, because they require different type of costing. So just know that the costing on either layers or broilers, depending on which one you're going into. Let us look at broilers now. Their housing are usually very simple. They don't need laying nests. They don't need, most of the time, they don't even need cages.
Layers, yeah,
they'll probably need cages, and of course, you know, you can also raise your layers on the floor. But broilers might not need cages. They don't need laying nests. You can raise them in deep litter, and their housing are usually a lot more simpler than layer houses, layer chicken houses. Then also their feed. Broiler feed has to be very high quality. It is essential that you raise your broilers with high quality feed. This is because broiler is for meat production. This is what the birds eat that they will produce, and they would only produce quality meat for you within a short period of time if you give them quality feed. Then for the chicks also, the day-old chicks of broilers, sorry. The day-old chicks of broilers are more expensive than layers. You can go to the market anytime they are doing the pricing for day-old chicks of broilers and layers. Broilers are always more expensive. So you know, we are comparing cost requirements. So for layers, the housing for layers, they need more, a bit more technicality. For instance, if you intend to have battery cage layer system, you know that once you're doing your flooring, you'd have to create the pit option, like the pit where the droppings of the birds will get into. You have to consider cost of cages. You have to also, if you don't want to use cages and you're raising layers, you have to consider laying nests. All these are extra expenses and make the whole layer poultry farming more expensive. Then for the feed, for feeding, you need you're going to feed them for grower for about 4 or 5 months. Then you now start giving them layers. So the laying the feed for layers, you're going to spread it over a very long time, because you're going to keep the birds for a very long time, and you're going to feed the birds for some time before you start seeing any return. So you know, I said layers now, they might not lay their first egg until 18 to 20 weeks, and when they even lay their first egg, it doesn't mean you start making profit immediately. So layer farming is like delayed gratification. you're not seeing the returns immediately. Unlike broilers that within 6 to 8 weeks, you're seeing your profits, you're seeing your returns in no time. Then what else about layers? Then also the price for you buying day-old layer, they are relatively cheaper than day-old broilers. So that's about it for the costing when considering layers and broilers. If you're on a tight budget and you want very quick returns, then you should consider broiler. You understand? Consider broiler if you're on a tight budget and you want your returns very quickly. Another thing we have to consider when we're comparing broilers and layers is we have to consider the time to profitability. The time is to take you to make profit. So again, broilers would be ready for sale within 6 weeks, maximum 6 weeks. If you keep them for 8 weeks, you start eating into your profit. So let's say you're keeping your broilers for 6 weeks, you're able to sell out in that 6 weeks. You're able to sell out at the 6th week. You're sure that you're making your profit. So your time to profitability is just 6 weeks. At the end of 6 weeks, you've made your profit. But for layers, it will take a longer time because you're going to feed them for about 20 weeks when they lay their egg, before they break even 26 weeks, before you start making any decent profits, you're looking at 33 weeks. So that is the time to profitability. So you now have to ask yourself, are you ready to wait? If you're ready to wait for a very consistent profit, a consistent stream of income, consider layers. But if you don't have that time, if you want your profits quickly, then consider broiler production. Now let us compare both broilers and layers in terms of market demand and revenue. So for broilers, right, chicken meat will always be in high demand, especially during festive season, especially if you're able to sell to maybe supermarkets, restaurants, or maybe people having events. You would always sell, right? That's for broilers. You would always sell your meat. However, the issue with broiler chicken production is just that the price might fluctuate. There's so much competition, and you probably might have to bring down your price because you want to sell. I mean, when your birds are 6 weeks and you've not found buyers for them, you don't want to feed them to the 7th week or the 8th week because you're eating into your profits. So you might compromise and decide to sell at a cheaper price compared to what you had planned already. You understand? So the competition is actually very, very tight. The price fluctuates also. It is not constant. For layers, however, their product, which is eggs, they are like a staple meal in every household, in every part of the world, like Africa, America, Asia. People would eat egg. People would definitely always eat egg. And egg selling, when you're selling egg from your farm, I mean when you're a layer poultry farmer, it helps you build relationship with your customers over time. Like for me now, I am a layer poultry farmer. I literally see my customers every week because most of them are buying from me every week. So let's say my customer is doing something, or they have one issue or the other, or maybe they are not feeling well. I have this information every week because I get to see them, I get to build relationship with them, and the revenue from layer poultry farming is consistent because it gives me revenue literally every day, every week, every month, all year round. All year round. A broiler farmer would earn his money at the end of every 6 weeks, and of course you can do the cycle as many times as you want during the year. I think you can run like 5 or 6 cycles in a year. But a layer poultry farmer would literally earn every day, and at the end of that at the end of the laying cycle, the layer poultry farmer gets to sell the spent chicken as old layers and also earn money. You know, like the broiler farmer that just sells the meat and that's all. Sell your broilers and that's the end. But the layer poultry farmer will probably keep the egg, like will probably keep the chicken for about 1.5 years. They are laying for 1.5 years, and yeah, you get to sell the eggs for 1.5 years. And after the 1.5 year that they've laid for, or 2 years that they have laid for, I still get to sell these chickens. I still get to sell them. I think I have several videos about selling my old layers. I get to sell them also. So I make money both ways. I mean, a layer poultry farmer makes money both ways. At this point, I get to remind you to please subscribe on my channel. If you have not subscribed and you have watched up to this point, please click on the subscribe button. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like, please share, please comment. Please don't skip my ads also. So let's continue. Let us look at layers and broilers in terms of how much work each of them requires. For broilers, because it is short term, so the work management is very intense, very intense. Like, you have to be very careful. You have to watch the feed, watch the water, watch their health, take biosecurity very seriously, because if something affects one of them, you know, because of their very rapid growth rate, if something affects one of them, it's most likely will affect the whole flock. So you have to be very careful and be very alert when you're managing broilers. So that is what is involved in terms of their management. It is very intense. It is short term. I mean, for the first 2 weeks when you're raising your broilers, the farmer might not even sleep. I mean, the people working there, they might not even sleep well, because they have to keep watching them seriously. But for layers, it requires a long-term management, because really you're doing this thing every day. So daily you're collecting egg, daily you're feeding them, daily you're cleaning the pen and all that. You're monitoring the health of the birds every time over a period of like 1.5 years. So it's like a long-term thing. You're giving them proper lighting, you're giving them proper feed, you're following a strict medication and vaccination schedule over a period of time. You're very familiar with them. You're like, oh, this bird here, oh, that bird there. And you're doing all this so as to maintain a very healthy flock and also good egg production. So now you now have to ask yourself, broilers or layers? So you ask yourself, do I want one very intense burst of hard work, or do I want like a steady flow of work? So if you want like an intense burst of hard work for about 6 weeks, go for broilers. But if you want, like, if your life is soft, like you just want something steady, you're doing this rightly, you're doing that rightly, and you're seeing the results, go for layers. Now you ask yourself, which is more profitable? Let me tell you something. Profitability depends on a lot of factors, like market price, your management, your skills, and operational efficiency. You can actually achieve high profits per cycle. That's if you're doing broilers. You can achieve high profits per cycle, and your profit margin might decrease if the price of feed rise or market price of chicken drop. I mean chicken meats. However, for layers, they offer you a consistent income, but it takes longer to break even. However, their long production cycle mean that you can earn continuously from your eggs and later from your spent chickens. That's your old layers. Let me tell you, both can be highly profitable if managed well. So it comes down to your financial goals and resources. Yes, both of them are highly profitable if you manage them well. Imagine you're doing like 5 or 6 cycles of broilers every year. You're making very good profit, but then you can also just keep the birds as layers and have them for a very long period of time. So that will be about it for today. So now I just want to tell you that you can choose broilers or choose layers. If you're looking for quick profits and can handle fast-paced operations, go for broilers. But if you prefer steady income and you're willing to invest more time and effort, then layers are the way to go. Ultimately, the decision depends on your market, your budget, and personal preferences. If this video has been helpful and has helped you clarify with broilers or layers, then please give it thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Poultry with Modupe, for more tips and insights on how to grow your poultry business. So now, which one are you leaning towards? Broilers or layers? Of course, I am a layer poultry farmer and I enjoy what I am doing. So let me know which one you're leaning towards. So we'll see you on another video. Bye bye.